This is the new 2024 Mercedes-AMG S63 E-Performance, which is the new high-performance version of the Mercedes-Benz S-Class luxury sedan. This car has 790 horsepower and over 1,000 pound-feet of torque, and a sticker price of around $200,000. Today, I'm going to review the new AMG S63 and show you all of its quirks and features. Today's video is sponsored by Cars and Bids, which is my online car auction website for modern enthusiast cars. So far, Cars and Bids has sold almost $500 million worth of cars, all sorts of special, interesting stuff like this, and this, and this, and this. So, if you're looking to buy or sell a cool enthusiast car, do it at carsandbids.com. All right, time for the quirks and features of the new S63. But first, a quick thank you to Mercedes-Benz of Temecula for providing me with this one to review. Mercedes-Benz of Temecula is an excellent dealership with a fantastic inventory, and they have truly been a great partner for my YouTube channel for many years and many videos. You can check out Mercedes-Benz of Temecula with a link in the description below. But anyway, on to the new AMG S63 E-Performance. That's what Mercedes-Benz calls it, but I will be referring to it as just the S63, and so will you. Anyway, like I said, this is the high-performance version of the new S-Class, and I mean high performance. Here in North America, a regular S-Class has between 430 and 510 horsepower, depending on the one you get. This has a 4-liter twin-turbo AMG V8 that makes about 600 horsepower, combined with an electric powertrain that makes about 190 horsepower for a total of 790 horsepower and 1,055 pound-feet of torque. A ridiculous, massive, absurd number, especially in a luxurious Mercedes S-Class. This car also comes standard with all-wheel drive and a 9-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, which is a bit of a surprise. Some automakers leaving behind the dual-clutch, but AMG is embracing it for the fastest possible shifts. It also does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds in a massive Mercedes S-Class. And because it's a plug-in hybrid with an electric component, it can drive around 17 miles in fully electric mode without any gasoline engine use at all. As for that gasoline engine, you can see it was handcrafted by Luca Roth. That's the AMG plaque mounted on the engine. Always a quirk of the AMG cars to have that, and nice to see it included here as well. Now, as you might expect when you get a new Mercedes S-Class, especially one with almost 800 horsepower, you pay a lot of money. This car has a starting price of around $185,000, and this one is equipped to around $215,000 with options. So, for that figure, what do you get? On the outside, this car is actually reasonably subtle. You wouldn't necessarily know you're looking at a 1,000 pound-feet of torque monster car. It kind of just looks like an S-Class with a few little giveaways here and there. For instance, the wheels, which are more aggressive than the ones in the standard S-Class, obviously also larger, and they have this fake center lock design that makes them look like center lock wheels, although they are not. You also have up front this AMG badge instead of the standard Mercedes-Benz 3-pointed star. This is getting onto all of the AMG models I'm noticing, replacing the traditional star and more distinctively AMG to separate these cars from the rest of the range. But the most obvious giveaway that this is an S63, aside from the badge right here that says S63, The most obvious giveaway is the quad exhaust. Big ol' exhaust, and they seem to stick out further than I remember in other AMG models to really emphasize the AMG-ness with almost 800 horsepower. But beyond that stuff, a couple of S-Class quirks and features on the outside. For one, I love the turn signals in the back. This wonderful design with all these little pillars of light as it blinks, it's just so cool. When you're sitting behind this car in traffic, you don't necessarily notice it, but up close you can see there's some neat detail work here, and it's a special turn signal design. As for the door handles, you can see right now they're sort of flush with the body of the car, but when you unlock the door, they pop out, revealing the Mercedes-Benz script. And then you pull on them, open the door, get inside. When you start to drive away or when the doors lock, the door handle goes right back into the body, creating this flush look that's better than door handles that just stick out ugly. But while the new S63 may be somewhat subtle on the outside, you climb in here and you instantly discover the luxury, the features, the opulence. Let's start with the massaging seats. Does this car have them? Please. It has 8 different massaging seat settings that you can select from, including several that offer heated massages using the heated seat system in conjunction with the massage for a hot massage. There's also a workout program with the seats. I swear this is true. You can turn on a workout that you can do while you're driving. So on a long trip, you can push different pressure points in the seat and keep your body active and loose with the in-car workout program that is real. Your car may have heated seats. This has heated panels, armrests that are also heated in addition to the seats that make you even warmer. There's even a neck warmer feature in this car, a heated neck area to keep you especially warm and comfortable. But probably the craziest luxury comfort setting in this car is a feature called Energizing Comfort. You select that and you can choose between a menu of different words, frankly, like freshness and warmth and vitality. You can select any of these and then the car will adjust all sorts of different settings to try to tailor the experience to match that word, including the picture displayed on the infotainment, the ambient lighting, the music that's playing, and the climate control and heated and cooled seat. As an example, I'm going to turn on well-being. Here's what happens. And not only does all of that happen, you couldn't feel it, but the massaging seat had turned on. Everything was geared towards well-being, apparently. Now, what's especially amazing is you can do all of that luxury stuff, and yet there is a race mode in this car that has preloaded racetracks that you can pull up when you're driving on them and save your racetrack time, and the car already knows which track you're on. Or you can add your own racetrack if the track you race on isn't included in the infotainment system already. There's also a drag racing mode where you go to it and it makes you hereby swear that you're doing this off the road. And then you can measure your acceleration time, 0 to 60, eighth mile, quarter mile, all that stuff measured right in the infotainment system that just moments ago was giving you a hot shoulder massage. There's even a general telemetry area where you can measure your braking and acceleration and just kind of watch that happen in real time as you're cruising along in your ultra luxury car. And the screen performance situation goes beyond that. In the gauge cluster screen, which is this large screen directly behind the steering wheel, you have several different performance settings. There's this one, which is Sport, and it gives you a sporty gauge cluster display. Looks very, sporty. Then there's this one, which is called Super Sport, and it gives you a sportier, super-y gauge cluster display. Then there's this one called Track Pace, which takes things even to a next level of sporty by giving you this cool display and some extra information that might be relevant if you're racetrack driving your AMG S63. There's a lot of performance stuff, and it continues on to the steering wheel, where you have these two little dials that sort of hang off the bottom center of the steering wheel. On the right side, these are your drive mode dials, and there are many drive modes in this car. Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus as usual, but there are also various electric modes where you can kind of push the car into electric driving if you just want to be calm and serene and not use your giant gas engine. Now, on the other side of the steering wheel, you have an even cooler control. This one adjusts various different performance settings, and you can tap on the control, the screen, to pull up precisely what you want to see. If you want to turn off traction control or put the transmission in manual shifting mode or increase the suspension harshness, you can do it all here and set what you want to change, and then use the little buttons on the side to actually adjust them on or off for the various settings. That's pretty performance-y too. But despite all of that performance stuff, I bring you back to the fact that this is still a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, and so it still has all of the luxury stuff you would expect, like, for example, quad climate vents in the center. You don't have to fight over two vents, driver and passenger. Each person gets two vents in this car in the middle, plus the ones on the side. And if you want to turn off the vent, there's no little wheel you turn like a plebeian. You push a button and it dials down or up the amount of airflow that comes out of the vents. You also have a rear sunshade in this car. If too much light is getting in through the back, you just press this button on the driver's door panel and the sunshade automatically glides up into place. And of course, press the button the other way and the sunshade automatically goes back down. And it's the same story above you. There's a sunshade for the sunroof. You slide your finger on this little slidey bar and the sunshade opens right up. And if you tap at any point, it stops the opening. Slide the other direction and it's closed. And this slidey bar also works for the sunroof itself. Just slide your finger the direction you want the sunroof to go and it'll do it, and tap if you want it to stop. And then there's the interior fragrance. In your car, you get cold air, warm air blown out of the vents. In this car, you get that, plus a smell, a fragrance of your choosing. You add the fragrance vial to the glove box right here, and then you go into the climate menu in the screen, and you can adjust how much fragrance comes out of your vial so that you can smell nice in your interior and not just be cooled down or heated up by your climate control. You will also notice in the climate menu, it's showing exactly how clean the car is making the air as it passes into the interior, from the dirty, awful outside air to the high quality, luxurious air in here. I should note, by the way, that the infotainment system in general in this car is absolutely fantastic. This is MBUX, which is Mercedes-Benz latest user interface, and it is wonderful with this great home screen that shows a map and then various other elements on top. You can tap to go wherever you want, or tap the home button for even more apps if you want to go into different things. It works great, it's intuitive, it's responsive, and it has a fantastic camera system. To access it, you just press this little button right here and it instantly pulls up, which is a great feature, and gives you all sorts of different camera angles and displays, all in high quality, including this great 3D camera display where you just move your finger around and it shows from the outside of the car what's going on. Very useful if you're parking this car in a tight spot. This infotainment system also has a fingerprint recognition feature. You tap this little black box with your fingerprint, you set it up, and then it will pull up your settings each time you get into the car based on your fingerprint recognition, which is wow. But the real luxury is in the back of this particular S63, because it has all sorts of rear seat executive package options totaling almost $20,000 that put an amazing amount of crazy features back here. And the luxury is apparent the moment you climb into this car, and you notice the lighted seatbelt buckle guiding you on where to place your seatbelt, so you don't have to fumble around looking for it at night. Over on the door panel, you can see your window control, but you also have a control for the sunshade. Just pull the window again, the sunshade comes up on the window, including this little quarter window on the side to make sure no sun bothers you. There's also a control here for the rear sunshade. As you can see, push this, it goes up just like you had in front, and there's a control for the rear sunroof sunshade, which is separate from the front one. The front people can have theirs open, you can close yours back here and be in a rear seat cocoon. Back here you also have a power adjustable rear seat. You can see the adjustment here on the door panel, which includes heated rear seat, cooled rear seat, memory settings for the rear seat, and over on the passenger side you even have this button. You press it and it delivers a lie flat rear seat like you would have in first class in an airplane. The front passenger seat moves out of your way, and in fact it even deploys a footrest for you where you can stick your feet as you lie back here in bliss. And by the way, speaking of lying back here, you'll notice there is a plush pillow on top of the regular headrest to add to your rear seat comfort in this car. And the rear seat experience only improves from there. You sit back here and you notice directly in front of you screens. These are touch screens that basically approximate everything the people in front can do in back. And that means, yes, you can turn on your massaging seat for the rear seats. All your different levels of massage, including hot massage, is going on back here. And yes, that also includes your workout in your seat, just like you had up front. And it continues. You can turn on the energizing comfort feature back here too, and choose between all of those energizing comfort settings. Although if you do it in back, you gotta play it through headphones. It won't play on the overall speakers, but the headphones are wireless and included with the car, of course, for rear seat comfort. In the back seat, you can even use this screen to adjust the fragrance, to turn it on and to adjust how much is coming out for the whole car from the back. In fact, you don't really lose anything in terms of adjustability and controls by being in the back seat. This touchscreen lets you change basically everything you can up front, but you're just sitting in back and getting to have all the fun while you're being driven along luxuriously. Now, beyond the screens in back, one individual, of course, for each rear seat, you also have your own rear seat climate controls. As you can see, adjust the temperature and the airflow location here, and you even have the little buttons on the climate vents to adjust the airflow with each specific vent. You also have a real-time measurement of the air quality in the back, just like you had in the screen up front, showing you exactly how clean your air is back here. Pop open this panel below the climate controls and you can see a host of power ports, 2 USB-Cs, and then HDMI ports to use in conjunction with the screens. And if you want more, this car delivers. Fold down the armrest, get it where I have it, and you open up this compartment in the back part and you discover, well, for one thing, a wireless cell phone charger, but if you look closely, you can see the surface of it is all little Mercedes-Benz logos. The little three-pointed stars make up the surface of your wireless charger. And you also have 2 more power ports here, so you can plug in your devices in case the power ports I already showed you a second ago just weren't good enough. Also included in the center armrest back here is a tablet, which is intended to go in this space here. It's a handheld tablet. You press the eject button, it pops out, and then you can use it to control various items in the car. I don't have access to the tablet because it's currently inside this sealed box in the trunk, ready for the first owner to open it up and start playing with it, but the tablet basically just duplicates all of the functions that you get in the rear screens, but if you don't want to reach your hand up to touch the screen, you have it right at your fingertips like a smartphone. More amazing luxury. And that tablet box isn't the only cool goodie that comes with this car. There's a lot of them, and they're hidden in the trunk. You pop it open, and you can see an assortment of boxes and bags and plastic-wrapped stuff, all of which is included with this vehicle. I'm going to give you a few highlights. My very favorite is the Mercedes-Benz branded microfiber towel, which you're intended to use to clean off the infotainment screen. This even has a Mercedes Mercedes part number on it. You can't just get a regular microfiber towel. You gotta go with the branded one. This is an ashtray, a Mercedes-Benz ashtray. They don't really include them in the cars anymore, so few smokers, but if you want one, you got it, and it has the Mercedes logo on it. You even have a pillow back here, a leather pillow that you can put wherever, and then you can nap on your pillow and your other pillow when you're sitting in the back being driven along. And this large bag here contains a car cover included in the purchase because, well, when you spend 215 grand on a car, a cover isn't really so much to ask, is it? Now, this may seem like a lot of stuff to be included as accessories with this car, but it's an expensive purchase and it's a big trunk. There's space for a lot of stuff and they give it to you. More interestingly though, the driving experience. What does a 790 horsepower S-Class, how does it drive? I've been very excited to find out, so let's get behind the wheel. All right, driving the new AMG S63 E-Performance. The specs on this car are absolutely unbelievable. And the new S-Class in general is a really excellent car, but I gotta tell you, this one just kind of has it all. Unbelievable power and torque, just an absolutely incredible figures. But I'm driving it along right now in sort of regular driving. I haven't floored it yet. I haven't really exploited the powertrain yet. And it is so comfortable and serene. And I gotta say, I will floor it. I will exploit the powertrain, but this is nice. It is nice to just sit here and waft along in an S-Class, which shockingly I can do despite the fact that this is the crazy one. We will go into sport. There's so many drive modes. We'll go into sport here. Let's see what happens. Oh, yes. Yikes, that's a lot of power. I also just love how the power comes on. It comes on in the best way for power to come on in a luxury car, which is, it's not loud, it's not raw and aggressive. It just sort of builds and then you look down and you're going a speed I don't want to say. That's how it should be. Drop your foot, you get great throttle response and just excellent, excellent power. Vroom. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, this thing is a weapon. This is a total weapon, which is so funny because 30 seconds ago I was talking about how comfortable it was to just waft around, and now I'm sitting here in Sport Plus mode. Oh! Oh, listen to that, feel that, that is fast, that is fast. It certainly is not a Model S Plaid, but it is also a million times nicer in here than a Model S Plaid, and so that's an interesting trade-off, right? Like the Plaid, you get the benefit of the crazy acceleration, almost like a muscle car, but in this car, like, this is a really nice luxury car. You kind of have the best of all worlds here, and that's the thing that I think is just so special about this car in general. I'm also really impressed, even in Sport Plus mode, with the ride quality. Oh, this is just so comfortable and serene and high performance. Oh, this is everything. This car has everything, plus the amazing technology. I mean, that's true generally of the S-Class. It really can do it all, but this one can really do it all. Also, I gotta say, I am astonishingly surprised by the handling in this car, and frankly, the steering. The steering is quicker than you would expect considering I'm in a giant car like this, and the handling is just absolutely fantastic for such a big car. It really goes hard around corners, and stays totally flat and changes directions much more quickly than I ever would have expected a vehicle like this would. What can't this do? Well, the answer is it can't be cheap, because it combines a performance car and a luxury car and a sports car and a high-tech modern electric car. The lone drawback is you are paying for all four of those cars. It is the cost of 4 vehicles. But that's kind of the reality if you want to combine sort of these amazing attributes of all these great cars. It's so much fun to drive and so fast and so exciting. Their steering and handling is so quick, and yet it's also just comfortable and relaxing and easy. And now I'm just in a neighborhood and life is good and calm. Whereas on those fast roads before, I was just going at it. This can do it all. It can do it all. And it doesn't put up complaint, and it has all the greatest modern tech. I mean, I'm so impressed with the latest S-Class in general. I did a review one a couple years ago when it first came out, and now the AMG version, I mean, I think you only add in this car. You don't really seem to lose in terms of ride quality. It's very comfortable, despite the AMG-ness. And your main benefit, of course, is that you get this absolutely fantastic driving experience and high performance experience as well. You got it all. You just got to spend for it. And so that's the new 2024 Mercedes-AMG S63 E-Performance. This car is amazing. It's unbelievably fast. It handles surprisingly well. It's ultra high tech, and it's tremendously luxurious and comfortable and roomy inside. This car really does it all, and you pay for it. And now it's time to give the new S63 a DougScore. And the DougScore is here, 72 out of 100, which puts the new AMG S63 E-Performance here against rivals. It even earns a very rare 10 in features, which it truly deserves. The new S63 is an amazing combination of performance, luxury, technology, and smooth calmness. I'm truly amazed that one car can do everything quite so well. The drawback is the price tag, which is massive, just like the Lucid Air Sapphire, which is the only car in this arena that I think has a slight advantage over the new S63.